Educational institutions are gaining complexities in terms of planning and collaboration. Additionally, schools are challenged with demands for near constant change to address issues that are very complicated, often ill understood, ambiguous, and with unclear results. For this purpose, the adaptability of school principals is being challenged and confronted with various issues or drawbacks. My research entitled Strategic Adaptation in Focus, Unfolding Stories of Novice Principals purposely explored the experiences of novice principals on strategic adaptation, probed their collaborative planning practices, as well as their coping mechanisms adapted to address the challenges they encountered. Greetings to all adjudicators, brilliant professors at the Institute of Advanced Studies, and all the audience in this virtual forum. My name is Mike M. Leopardas, the researcher, along with my research advisor, Dr. Melanie N. Edig. Various issues have arisen worldwide as well as in the national scenario as presented by new school principals. Some of those were complexities of the roles of new principals in the first year. The responsibilities of new school principal added challenges, which explained conflict over how local control and responsibility could be balanced. And there were few support structures to help them navigate this transition to leadership. However, in the national setting, school principals are also faced with various challenges and struggles in leading the schools during their first 2 years. Principals themselves taught of papers, school culture, methods and procedures, expectations of superiors, and supervisor oversight as key obstacles to be addressed. Moreover, they pointed out that school heads encounter numerous obstacles such as changing of the curriculum and resolving conflicts that affect their adaptability of the new school principals. This study answered the following research questions. Number 1. What are the experiences of novice principals in strategic adaptation? Number 2. How do novice principals establish collaborative planning practices in school? And number 3. How do novice principals cope with the challenges in strategic adaptation? This study is viewed from the lens of adaptive leadership, transformational leadership, situational contingency theories, and trait theory. Consequently, the study employed a qualitative research design employing a phenomenological approach. The participants of this study were the 10 novice principals from the 3 schools division offices in Davao region, namely Davao del Norte, Tagum City, and Panabo City divisions. Inclusion criteria were set in selecting the participants under this investigation. Further, for data collection, several steps were employed. First, seeking permission to conduct study. Second, preparing the research instrument. Next, selecting the participants and seeking informed consent from them. Fourth, administration of the instrument through an interview. Then, transcribing, translating, and analyzing the data. 6. Endorsement to data analysts. And lastly, ensuring data privacy. For data analysis, I highlighted the usage of data coding and thematic analysis. In establishing trustworthiness of the study, I ensured its credibility, dependability, transferability, and confirmability I cited in Shenton 2004. To establish ethical consideration, I adhere to the fundamental principles of Belmont Report 1979, where respect of persons, beneficence, and justice were identified. Along with the Belmont Report's recommendations, I also consider the strict compliance with the Data Privacy Act of 2012, or the RA 10173, which protects individuals from unauthorized processing of personal information. The major themes generated on the experiences of novice principals along with their responses were the following: strong support and collaboration with stakeholders, building good social relations and open communication, teacher empowerment, difficulty in adjusting to deeply rooted culture, shortage of budget allocation, and constraints on implementation of instructional delivery and maintenance of physical facilities. Further, on the practices implemented for establishing collaborative planning by novice principals, the following were the major findings. First, conducting interactive dialogue and consultation through regular meetings, practicing transformational leadership style, empowering teachers and stakeholders, and developing strong sense of commitment and shared responsibility. Thus, novice principals had adopted various coping mechanisms from the challenges they encountered, and these were the following: establishing democratic and consultative work environment, identifying priority improvement area, instituting generation of financial resources, adopting clear scientific approach to problem solving, and lobbying support from DepEd authorities and multi-stakeholders. All the discussions of results were supported with authors which have immensely strengthened the veracity of the findings. Significantly, along with those findings, it is imperative that as a researcher, I presented implications which are significant elements towards the improvement or development of policy, practice, theory, and ensuing research studies. First, DepEd authorities may incorporate initiatives, propose programs for novice principals to educate them on essential priority settings of specific school expenses to incur and conduct periodic or regular monitoring of school financial accountabilities. Second, there is a need to come up with strong mentoring and coaching mechanisms from those outgoing principals and welcoming the new ones in their new work assignments. There should be intensive workshops on mentoring and coaching mechanisms to better prepare new school leaders to handle responsibilities and roles in the new school assignment. Next, DepEd Division Office must also intensify the conduct of periodic consultations and monitoring as venue for interactive dialogue with novice school leaders on their plight in leading the newly assigned schools. The interactive dialogue can be done in varied communication modes which allow for constant monitoring to prevent problems or challenges to surmount on the process. And lastly, the principals must be strong implementers or supporters of the potential ideas outlined in the plan of actions pertaining to the effective performance of their instructional leadership functions in school. One strategy for ensuring long-term success is for the principals to cooperate with teachers and stakeholders to personally advocate and promote reform, which is the improvement of classroom instruction and other intended school operations. Therefore, in this study, specific actions or recommendations are suggested that this study tries to resolve or needs to be taken about policy, theory, practice, or subsequent research in the future. This study proposes immersion and induction program for new school leaders. DepEd Regional or Division Office may design immersion program for newly assigned school leaders before their official inception. The immersion program would enable the newly appointed school principals to have a feel of how is working in a new environment. Further, this immersion activity would help principals to engage and connect with the school culture prior to their inception. It is also recommended to conduct mentoring and coaching program on effective fiscal management. As soon as possible, principals must reduce unnecessary administrative costs that entail inefficiencies. Thus, funds must be allocated to where it should be for the benefit of school learners. Moreover, principals must operate with transparency and accountability. Novice principals must earn the public trust. Tailoring communications to specific groups helps organizations collaborate better by reducing communication barriers. Getting stakeholders involved in long-term planning helps with stakeholders buy-in of the long-term strategic objectives for school operations like delivery of instructions and maintenance of conducive school physical facilities for teachers and students. Thus, seeking support from DepEd authorities and multi-stakeholders is of paramount importance. This study also recommends implementing plan of actions on instructional leadership practices. Principals are considered instructional leaders in implementing the curriculum. For this purpose, to address the challenges with instructional delivery, the principals must effectively and diligently implement, monitor, and evaluate the conduct of teaching-learning process. Principals may frequently conduct periodic consultations with the master teachers about the mechanisms they adopted for strengthening performance monitoring and coaching of teachers. Hence, it is strongly recommended for further research to use other data gathering tools like focus group discussion to triangulate the data and to arrive at more interesting findings and results. Utilizing novice principals in the senior high school, teachers, and other stakeholders. It is also ideal to conduct another study relative to the experiences of the novice principals by identifying schools situated in urban setting. The school setting matters a lot in the experiences of the new school leaders because their experiences may vary in managing big and or small schools. Lastly, to further generate a more valid and reliable result, it is recommended that another study may be conducted using the mixed method approach to strike a balance in generating data and information. Thank you everyone and have a good day.